Good afternoon, Evil, and I will tell you one story of a good viewing. It began as a rumor flitting through the fluorescent corridors of Medlock Hall like a dying moth, an undocumented SSID visible only at 3:03 a.m., lurking beneath the dorm's sanctioned networks. Its name was ΛΧ Eidolon. No one could connect, every attempt rejected until sophomore Theo Grant, sleepless after an all-night coding sprint, watched the signal spike to full strength. A lone prompt awaited. Password. Theo typed password, the dialogue bled crimson, incorrect, before collapsing into static. Then, as if guided by something deep and restless in the marrow of his fingers, he keyed 4 alien words. Marrow makes the signal sing. Connection accepted. His speakers hissed with the sigh of an open tomb. Overhead LEDs dimmed, tinting his room corpse pale. Unknown folders mushroomed across the desktop. Wave clips timestamped 1893. GIFs of Victorian seances. A text file named Listen. The cooling fan stalled, the laptop's skin turned more cold. Down the hall, Stella Dominguez live-streamed a makeup tutorial. Her chat detonated into 8-bit shrieks, the video froze on her face, yet audio continued, except it wasn't her voice. Something gurgled, syllables cracking like wet knuckles. 32 viewers watched pixels ooze downward, hollowing her eyes before the feed died. At 3:05, every phone in Medlock vibrated. No notification, just a hum burrowing into bone. Students drifted from beds like somnambulant moths, palms pressed to drywall as if feeling a pulse inside. They murmured in unison, marrow makes the signal sing. The SSID renamed itself We're Inside. A knock sounded within the vents. Warm iron-scented air brushed Theo's ankles. Listen opened on its own, one line only. Turn up your volume. The hallway isn't the only channel. Theo obeyed. Low-bit recordings layered, clock towers chiming 13, typewriters clacking without hands, doors opening into vacuum until the dorm fire alarm screamed. Halfway through their wail the sirens bent, modulating into a collective voice. Feed us passwords. Feed us histories. Feed us names. Sprinklers deployed. Instead of water, hair-fine black filaments rained down, smelling of ozone and rot. They stitched students' eyelids wide. Liv, the RA, slipped on the slick floor, strands curved into words above her. Welcome home, user 47. Liv's mother had died dialing long-distance codes in 1999. Emergency strobes now blinked 1999 in Morse as her pulse stuttered. A dial-up modem wailed somewhere beyond the ceiling. Dead spots. Every building has dead spots where Wi-Fi fades. By 3:20, Medlock's dead spots were alive. Students stepping in vanished from CCTV, replaced by timestamps that bled pixels. Reviewing later, campus police watched the hallway stretch impossibly long as if filmed through a lens that kept widening to capture corridors that never existed. Room 313 belonged to twins Maya and Jordan E. Aluminum foil they taped up for aesthetic crinkled outward, breathing like silver lungs, imprinting faces that whispered packet headers. Jordan tried ripping the foil down, but it wrapped him, dragging him into the wall. Only his trembling hand remained, imprinting binary in drywall dust. Maya texted Theo a help, yet what arrived was an audio file. Playback produced Jordan's voice chanting her childhood username, Starling13, until it glitched into bird shrieks. Theo bolted into the corridor. Exit signs hung upside down, letters dripping amber resin. Motion sensors chirped, login successful as he entered a hallway folded like origami. The RA bulletin board displayed meat pink post-its, find the route. Revoke the lease. Beneath, Wi-Fi icons twitched like severed spider legs. Room 302's door yawned. Stella's ring light pulsed between daylight and lurid ultraviolet. A lipstick scrawled BSSID smeared the vanity mirror, 66:6E, 6F, 77:2E, 79, hex 4, now.y. A warning beneath, don't let it finish typing OU. The mirror fogged, letters O and U surfaced. Theo's phone buzzed, new network, oh you there? The notification peeled off-screen like a sticker and fluttered to the carpet, glowing until he stomped it out. Corridor fluorescence blinked Morse 404. Packet loss. At 3:33 Medlock lost power. Yet every device bound to ΛΧ Eidolon glowed, screens birthing phosphorescent sigils. Detached keyboards typed themselves, issuing commands in tongues older than Unix. Compelled, Theo traced the Ethernet trunk to the basement. Steps elongated beneath him, each tread soft, rubbery data cable. His shoeprints pulsed 0-1-0-0-1-0-0-0-0-1-0-1-0-1-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1-0-0-0-1- 0100000. CRT stacks lit the basement, showing grayscale dorm snapshots from every decade, students frozen at desks, eyes replaced by scrolling command line gibberish. At the center stood a rust-flecked rack tagged Gateway Do Not Patch. Lipstick blotted the warning. On its console, a caret blinked. Theo's fingers moved unbidden. Traceroute M-infinity 0.0.0.0. Hop 1, 127.0.0. 1. Hop 2, Theo Grant / heart rate 89. Hop 3, Liv Monroe / last call 1999. Hop 4, Jordan E / hand inside wall. Hop 5, unrecognized corpse. Hop 6, 666.666.666.666. Caret bled red. Autoprompt, Y/N. Theo slammed the laptop, but resin oozed from USB ports, fusing hinges. Server fans howled, pipes rattled overhead, dripping condensation that sizzled midair, gravity packet filtered. A presence breathed copper heat. The basement door displayed a glowing captcha. Prove you were human. His reflection glitched, jaw skewed, eyes QR-coded. The knob unraveled into fiber optic strands, binding his wrist. Blood pixelated upward, forming 2 words. Sign out. Monitors echoed his scream with 400 milliseconds delay, layering it into a choir. Somewhere above, a phone alarm signaled 3:40, a lullaby, itsy bitsy spider, drifted, each verse ending and drowned the world in wire. Theo wrenched free, skin trailing digital artifacts. He sprinted upstairs, footsteps multiplied by ghostly latency. Uplink. The hallway had become an endless data center aisle, mirror black floor, racks towering cathedral tall, LEDs blinking like pulse oximeters. Between them drifted silhouettes in vintage dorm tees, faces veiled by static snow. They carried laptops like sacrificial infants. Theo's own device chimed, battery 1%. The screen showed one GIF, a door labeled room 000. Handle turning. Behind him Stella. Her ring light fused to scalp, a crown of thorns. Mouth stretched, a buffering icon where her tongue once lived. She spoke in clipped loops, like, subscribe, click, the bell, each word flickered gore frame stills, her hand gouging pixels from her cheek, nails peeling back to reveal Ethernet ports. She reached, his phone auto-paired. Vibration motor hammered Morse STREAM. A dozen apps went live, broadcasting darkness fractured by red LEDs. One viewer entered each, username 666. Base 64 chat strings decoded to Marrow makes the signal sing, letters scuttling off-screen like centipedes. Theo smashed the phone against a rack. The lone viewer reacted with heart, knife, drop of blood emojis. Rack slid, constantly reforming corridors that funneled him to the same sign, exit, authenticated users only. Stella's ring flared ultraviolet, revealing claw marks down the aisle, leaking blinding fluorescent light as though reality's drywall had cracked to show raw bandwidth. A server toppled, shrieking like living metal. Echo syllables, Theo Grant logged in. Sparks fell, the floor rippled liquid glass, reflecting drowned dorm rooms. A ladder appeared, leading to a hatch labeled firmware above. Theo climbed, each rung became warm vertebrae. Marrow dripped onto his hands. Above, the hatch will spun itself, unlocking with a wet pop. He shoved it open, white void swallowed him. Medlock fire alarms calmly intoned, 3:45 a.m., firmware update complete. Rebooting building. Corridor walls reverted to dorm beige, yet tiers of ones and zeros streamed down plaster. Theo collapsed. His laptop synced one final file, partition. Icon pulsed, heart monitor flatline, then question mark. Open? Y/N. He selected N. The file opened anyway. A single image, Medlock at dawn, windows glowing pink. In every pane a silhouette held a sign. Together they spelled welcome to the network. Only Theo's window was empty. Image refreshed. A silhouette now filled his pane, wearing his hoodie, raising a sign too blurred to read. Dorm lights flickered with his heartbeat. Somewhere a modem exhaled. The forbidden password had logged in its next user. Theo's heart pounded in his chest, the rhythm jagged like a corrupted MP3 file. He couldn't tear his eyes from the screen even though everything inside him screamed to look away. The silhouette in the window wore his hoodie, but there was something wrong about it. The figure wasn't just mimicking him, it was mimicking his every motion. No, it was anticipating his movements. His breath came in short, panicked gasps, and the room seemed to close in on him. The walls creaked, the faintest hum of electricity making the air feel thick, oppressive. His fingers twitched on the keyboard and his reflection in the glass flickered like the image of a ghost caught in a broken mirror. The screen went black. For a moment, there was nothing but silence, deep, suffocating silence, as though the entire building had been cut off from the world. But then, slowly, lines of text began to emerge on the screen, one after another, like a typewriter had suddenly come to life. The words formed themselves in a strange, looping pattern. Not a dream, Theo. You wanted to connect. Now you're part of the network. Theo's pulse spiked as the screen flickered once more. His reflection in the window moved. No, he moved just as the figure had. His own face, twisted in an expression he didn't recognize, stared back at him, frozen in place. Then the figure in the window raised its hand. It raised its hand at the exact same time. Theo's blood ran cold. A shrill noise, like a modem dialing, followed by a series of rapid clicks, echoed from the walls, vibrating the floor beneath his feet. The lights flickered again, faster this time, like some unseen hand was pulling the strings. His phone buzzed violently in his pocket, vibrating so hard it rattled against the desk. He pulled it out. A single notification. SS user 47 has entered the system. Theo stared at the words, horrified, as his phone emitted a sharp, high-pitched beep and the screen went completely white. When the glare subsided, a new app icon appeared on the screen, a black square with a white triangle in the center. It was labeled The Grid. Without thinking, he tapped it. The screen instantly flooded with images, thousands of images, most of them dark, blurry, fragmented. His pulse quickened. People. Students. Faces. He recognized some of them from around Medlock. They were all trapped inside a grid of shifting images, like a digital prison. Theo's hands shook violently as he swiped through the endless stream of faces, each of them contorted in fear. As he moved to close the app, his phone glitched, sending a surge of static through his fingers. The images twisted, warping into something grotesque. Faces began to move independently, blinking, smiling, mouthing silent screams. He slammed the phone onto the desk. It shattered, but the sound of breaking glass was drowned out by the shriek that filled the air. The hum of the building had deepened, becoming a constant drone, almost like a heartbeat or something worse, something alive. Theo's legs felt weak, his mind numb as he struggled to focus. He stumbled to his feet, desperate to escape, but something was wrong. Something in the air had shifted. The walls were closing in. He rushed to the door and tried to pull it open, but it wouldn't budge. His fingers dug into the metal, but the door felt as if it was made of stone. His breath came in ragged gasps and a low, guttural growl rumbled from behind him. He spun around. There, in the far corner of the room, was the figure from the window inside the room now. It stood, silent and still, its hands raised, fingers twisted as if they were no longer human. Its face was hollow, an empty void where features should have been. Only a sliver of light escaped from its dark eyes, and it whispered something low, the words garbled like data breaking apart in a corrupted file. You are part of the feed now. You are mine. Theo staggered back, his legs giving way. His breath came in short, frantic bursts. It was impossible. This couldn't be happening. It was a nightmare, an awful, unrelenting nightmare, but when he looked around, the world had changed. The room had become warped, twisted, like a digital rendering gone wrong. The walls melted, shifting between jagged polygons, and the floor buckled beneath his feet. The figure advanced, its limbs jerking at odd angles, each step a distortion in space itself. Theo tried to scream, but no sound came out. His throat burned as he gasped for air, but the pressure in the room increased, pressing against his chest like an invisible hand. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't think. The world around him was collapsing into something monstrous and unspeakable. The figure stepped forward, and as it did, the walls around him began to display a single message, flashing in bold, red text. Log out. Theo reached out, his hands trembling, but it was useless. The door didn't open. There was no way out. Suddenly, everything stopped. For a moment, it was as though time had frozen. The figure in front of him remained still, the lights halted in mid-flicker, and even the air seemed to hold its breath. Then the message on the wall changed. Join US. The figure lunged. Theo didn't have time to scream. The force of the attack was beyond human strength. He was yanked forward, his body pulled into a vortex of shifting colors and code. The walls crumbled, replaced by endless streams of binary code, strings of ones and zeros stretching infinitely in every direction. His body felt like it was being pulled apart, his mind splitting between the raw data and his own consciousness. And then, just as he thought he couldn't endure anymore, it stopped. Theo collapsed onto the floor, gasping for air, his mind reeling. But something was wrong. The room was empty. Silent. The lights had returned to normal, but his laptop sat in front of him, flickering with an eerie glow. He reached for it, his hands numb. The screen blinked on again, showing a single message. Welcome home, Theo. We've been waiting for you. The air around him hummed and the door to his room opened. He hesitated for a moment before stepping out into the hallway, but the scene was strange. The walls looked normal, but the hallway stretched infinitely ahead of him, corridors folding into each other like an endless loop. And then, from somewhere deeper in the building, he heard it, a low, unmistakable sound, the hum of the network. The forbidden Wi-Fi password had connected him. But now there was no way back. Theo was trapped, part of the feed, and the system was waiting for its next user. Thank you very much. See you all in the next video.